Okay, Seth, here's your video from last week. Let's get you started here at the top. What's going on? Okay, so I'm going to show you lots of different things, and we'll work on one thing at a time as we go. All right, take you out of your leg lift here. So out of your leg lift at the point where your leg starts to descend, I just want to see how far off the rubber your hip has gone. How much of your body is inside of that line? I need to see the back hip inside that line. And it would be nice to see the leg here more angled as if you're starting to move that body forward. And that will happen. This is called your force vector down here. That will change. That angle of force will change as you shift your hips out. So you're used to coming up and then posting and then dropping the leg and coming forward. And studies say that typically is the slower approach to pitching. And high velocity guys they're gonna lift their leg up and they're gonna start moving right away. Very few guys in the majors do it like this, even though everybody seems to be taught this way, this old conventional way of posting up the leg and waiting and balancing and then dropping and driving. Yeah, you're much better off lifting that leg and getting going, something that we will discuss further on, or at least in the future. Okay, so let's take you down into your load. Okay, I like how your arms are nice and loose and relaxed. You got a good handbrake is nice and low, which is great. All right, here's your load position. Your load is how nicely can you basically get your hips from. So if I drew a line at your hips right about here, we want to see that you're in the center of your hips, which should be about right here. And let's get you down. Now the idea is that you are able to get those hips to move along that line, which would mean that you're loading correctly, you're sinking down, but you're moving forward and sinking down at the same rate. So let's see if your belly button follows that line. See, not quite. See how that kind of sinks under like this, and then it goes. So that's that drop and drive. So when you drop and drive, you lose a lot of power and speed and momentum, potentially, because you're not moving down and out at the same rate. You're dropping low, and then you're pushing forward. Okay, so we want to get to you to load that leg a little bit better, a little bit more athletically. Okay, now let's get you out to just before leg drive here. A couple things that we worked on last week. Remember, we want to get this arm. It starts off real well the way it drops, but it just never really contributes to the rest of the delivery, which is going to help you with your trunk dynamics and trunk speed and trunk tilt. Okay, what we want to see is that arm. It's good that it's in the same place as the throwing arm right now, but it stays there and it stays there and it just gets lower as you go. So let's take a look at how well you drive. Let's get you back into leg drive. So your leg drive starts about here because this is where you get your final kick from your back foot. So take a look at your back knee. Do we see it straighten out and turn, or do we see it just turn? It turns pretty aggressively, and then it straightens out a little bit. So you do get some ankle extension here. You get a little bit of some knee extension, and you do get some hip extension. So you get what's called triple extension, which is actually pretty good. When you land your front foot, you land with your knee behind your heel. That's great. Let's take a quick little angle here and see how you did. 68-degree angle. Not bad with the lower body. We definitely can improve on that, though. Okay, let's see how the lower body converts the power. Let's change that. Lower body is going to convert power to the upper body, and if the timing was right, we would see the trunk thrust forward. So let's take a look. How does it convert? So all these forces down here are going to now come up this nice angled leg here. This force vector here is pretty good. So let's see how that trunk reacts. Here. Okay, you get a good arm layback. The trunk at that arm layback is pretty tall, about 82 degrees. You know, we want to see guys normally in the 60s here, mid 60s, when the arm is at full layback like that. That's an indication of good leg power from the back side and the front side. And I think you have more leg power in the front side, but just not enough from the back side. Now, where are you at pitch release? How much further does that trunk go? So you were pretty much at, what, 82 degrees? And now you drop down to 62. You might 20-degree change, which is decent, but that 20-degree change would want you down in the 40s. So if you started in the 60s instead of the 80s, you would have been there. Okay, so lower power through the stride, through hip and shoulder separation. Okay, now let's take a quick look here at front foot plant. Remember, we're going to get this arm up. You did a good job in the last lesson. You want to get this arm up so that it's even with your throwing arm. Okay, and even to the point where you have a little bit of a tilt going this way so that that chin stays behind your belly button or your belt buckle. Your chin is not in a terrible place actually in this video, so it looks pretty good. You do stay back decently, but with this arm down so low, it's just going to cause you to rotate a little bit too soon. So here's where we figure out this rotation thing. We don't want to rotate the upper body until the lower body is done. The lower body is done when the front leg braces up. So when the front knee, take a look at your front knee. When the front knee stops moving, so it swivels just a little bit, boom, and it stops right there. Okay? We want your trunk and your chest right here to be about there when you land. You bring this arm up, and that's exactly where it'll be. And you'll have good hip and shoulder separation because your hips are coming forward. Let's take a look at where your hip actually is when you brace up. It's pretty good. So your foot is all the way turned over, your ankle's cleared, leg is extended, your hip is extended out, your shoulder's back. So you have good hip and shoulder separation. Let's get this arm to stop you from early trunk rotating. Okay, and you're going to be in good shape. All right, hope that helps you out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to work on getting this glove arm to be a little bit more active and put in a better position to help you with trunk rotation. And we'll just continue to work on your back leg drive so that we don't just turn and collapse the knee and the heel just pops up, but we want to see that the inside of the foot pushes more and then turns over. Okay? I will see you soon.